welcome back to Everything in Between. Today we have Miss May. I am not going to take the thunder. I'm going to let her introduce herself and take the lead on that because I think it's going to sound a lot better coming from you. So please introduce yourself and why you're here.
Thank you so much for having me on today. My name is Marlene Torres. I am the founder of Hand in Hand Academy Corporation, as well as Hand in Hand Educational and Behavioral Services. I've been a special ed teacher, varying exceptionalities for over 20 years, specializing in autism. I am an autism coach. That is where my passion is, watching children thrive and overcome the difficult, hard developmental deficits they may have.
Right.
And I'm very happy to be here.
Super happy to have you. So I think this is super important, right? Not just for those that are in the space and living it, but also for those that don't really know much about it, right? So I want to take it back. Like, where did it start? How did you get into Hand in Hand, either Hand in Hands, if you want to take the lead on that, and just tell us a little bit more about it.
I am a mother of 3 boys, and my entire philosophy and how I raise my boys and how I teach in the classroom has been, how do I make you independent? How do I promote you and help you become a well-rounded individual, not dependent on mom and dad or anything or anyone else?
Right.
And humility. How do I teach you to be humble, to survive in life and love and give?
Right.
That has been my philosophy as a parent. That has been my philosophy as an educator. I'm all about be resourceful, become independent.
Right.
And to me, a diagnosis is not per se an obstacle, or while it is difficult and challenging for educators and parents, depending on what the child needs, for me, it just tells me I need to attack it a different angle. I need to teach you. It may take longer.
Find a way. Yeah.
But I will find a way to make you within your ability and capabilities to make you as independent as possible. Okay. With that mindset, Hand in Hand Academy Corporation, my nonprofit, came about because I had parents calling me from students years before. Hey, May, my child is cutting themselves. I have no idea who to turn to.
Wow.
Hey, May, my child is now under psychotropic evaluation and medications because of depression, anxiety, and OCD and phobias. May, my child students I helped throughout the years that I established great relationships with their parents. Right. My child doesn't have a friend. We can't go out. He's not invited to places. She's not this and that. She's depressed at home, not socializing. Wow. And I said, all right. So I have 3 boys of my own. And I said, guys, we're playing pickleball with a group of kids.
Oh my God.
Boys, we're going here. We're going bowling. We're doing this. And I was doing it. I was doing IEP and 504 advocacy without charging people. For me, it was, you're your child's biggest advocate. I'm in that baby's life, a glimpse,
right,
a window of their entire existence.
Right.
You need to know what type of learner your child is. You need to learn their strengths, their weaknesses. How do I teach them? How do I coach them? What does this behavior mean?
Right.
Is it for attention? Is it because of lack of communication? Is it a sensory disorder?
Right.
But if you don't know, parents aren't born with manuals, and not even teachers. Shout out to teachers. We work our behinds off, but at the end of the day, we don't have the proper support or training to deal with the vast needs of an individual, because it's not one size fits all. Education is not one size fits all. And my boys were working, and they were making friends. They were teaching them, and it started with sports. It started with social gatherings, social out, I'll get into that after, but I realized, I said, I need to do more to help the community here. I need to do more to help these families.
Yeah.
And mom's calling me desperate in tears. May, I need help. I don't know what to do. My marriage, this, that. And I said, okay. And that is how Hand in Hand Academy Corporation was born.
Wow. So that's incredible. And super impactful. I actually got a little emotional there because I have a new baby. She's a year and 6 months, 18 months. And naturally, you see a lot of things out there. Fortunately, she's happy, she's healthy. But sometimes you see those things come up later in life. And it's like, it is a huge fear, right? And when it does happen, especially if you've not someone that's dealt with it or you don't know someone that's dealt with it, it's very scary, right? Because you don't know how you're going to handle it. So having that kind of support system, like knowing that it's just out there in general is massive. And having someone undertake that and it sounds like it just naturally comes to you, right? That want and that need to be able to be there for them. But also being in the education field and seeing it firsthand and having those experiences come across you. I don't know. I feel like God just like put it in front of the right person, because not everyone does something with it. So, and the fact that your boys are, yes, you're leading them into it, but they're ready and willing to do it as well is just, I think, a testament to how you raise them. So that's fantastic. So on that, I have so many more questions. So Hand in Hand was born, and tell me more about Hand in Hand. Like, what's the goal? What is that you hope to accomplish within it? You know, who is it that's specific that you're trying to help? How can people get involved? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I have 2 companies,
right?
And the name, while people laugh at me, they're like, May, you couldn't get a little bit more creative with the names? It was intentional.
Okay.
So I have Hand in Hand Educational and Behavioral Services. That is a homeschool tutoring company.
Okay.
I provide IEP advocacy. I provide professional developments. I help private sectors such as private schools, daycares, pre-Ks open up special need programs.
Okay.
Again, you know, it's that undiagnosed, the behaviorals, the difficulty, ODD, ABD, ASD. Those are acronyms for all some disabilities.
Right.
And they need support. So the entire micro school program was our kids were falling through the cracks.
Right.
Parents don't know this. A lot of laws change through this state frequently.
Okay.
And right now, the laws changed a few years back where you need a 67 cognitive IQ and a 67 adaptive IQ. What does that mean? Cognitive intelligence, right, and social emotional strength and ability. If you have higher than a 67 IQ, EQ, and adaptive functioning skills, they were removing kids from modified curriculum.
Really?
Meaning, if your child is a 10th grader who has a diagnosis or a learning deficit of more than 2 or 3, 4 years, they're working significantly below their age or grade level,
right,
they're getting pushed in and they're getting general ed curriculum at their grade level. So you have 10th graders on the spectrum, with Down syndrome, with intellectual disability, with multiple learning gaps,
right,
being pushed into the general ed curriculum.
Wow.
Is that fair for anybody?
That's so black and white. Like, yeah.
That's not fair for anybody.
Yeah.
But it all falls under the, inclusion model. So here's, exactly.
It's like,
so here's the, and I'm all for inclusion. That's what my nonprofit is about.
Right.
Love, community, involvement. Let's get my kids out social. Let's get them working.
Right.
So it's not about that. It's about the pretense which it's being sold.
Right.
So now you have your typical developing individuals at a specific level. You have your gifted individuals. Right. And then you have children on wheelchairs with G-tubes pushed into these classrooms.
Wow.
And now these parents, their children graduate, whether it's at 18 or 21 if they're on access points, which is a modified curriculum in the public school system. Now, where do they go after that? They can't answer, what's your full name? What's your mom's phone number? God forbid.
Yeah.
They're in a situation, they cannot maintain jobs. And while there's programs out there to help them, it's not enough.
Right.
And it doesn't support long-term. So I have children who graduated, adults with diagnoses, who his family still contact me. Some of the students still contact me. Hi, Miss Torres, I miss you. I miss you too, so-and-so. Hey, are you working? No. Well, they were looking for another job and they haven't gotten me another job. And were they paying you? No, they weren't paying me. Well, all right, honey. So again, that's why the nonprofit, it's kind of like, my long-term vision and goal is, can I attain a facility to employ? And if they're not capable to maintain a job,
right,
they have a safe place to go to while mom and dad still work.
Right.
Just because you're 25 doesn't mean you still don't need mom and dad, whether with or without a diagnosis, you know?
Yeah.
So
I need my mom right now.
So through the nonprofit, through our Academy Corp, we provide And this is a baby company. We haven't even been opened a year. So bear with me. There's still a lot of movement. There's a lot going on and a lot I'm learning. I opened up the tutoring company 3 years ago because I personally didn't want my children in the public school system anymore. And I saw what was going on behind closed doors. And I said, no, not happening. And my boys, by the grace of God, they're healthy. They're very high-functioning individuals. I have 3 awesome stud muffins. But at the end of the day, I'm still a mom.
Right.
You know? And they are my homeschool students. Well, one of them is in college and graduated. He has his own businesses. But the other 2 are employees as well. They tutor, very highly gifted in math. They tutor Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Physics. Wow. So they work, and they do work with our special needs population on social skills, on sports. Wow. And they do provide those experiences to be and play and be a boy with another, you know? So, but they are my homeschool students as well. And I opened up the tutoring company because it's not one size fits all.
Right.
And I saw the pain and the suffering of students receiving education at grade level, not functioning at grade level, supporting my colleagues saying, okay, this is dyslexia, this is what it means, this is sensory processing, this is what it means, this is how he learns, this is how you accommodate, this is what you do, this is what you need to do to ensure that child to be successful. High-functioning individuals who are stronger in one area, weaker in another area. And I was being pulled all over the place. I said, no, I'm going to have my homeschool pods, a homeschooling program, and we'll provide your curriculum. We do an academic achievement. I gather old data from the schools, any medical diagnosis you may have. I train mom and dad on how to interpret those psych evals. So important. And to better understand, or I put them in contact with people who can support them if it's something I can't do.
Right.
Listen, you need this psychologist. You need to speak to this ABA company. Let's get you these therapies.
Roadmap.
It's a roadmap. It's support.
Yeah.
And it's devastating. Just the other day in the news, I saw, it wasn't here in Florida, but still a family who they killed parents. They're 2 teenage boys with autism and then ended up killing themselves too. Just this whole family mass suicide. And I was talking about it with my team. And I said, Lord Almighty, there needs to be more help. If you talk to anyone, there needs to be more support. So what do I do through the nonprofit? We have monthly Fit with Friends. I titled it Fit with Friends. It's sports. How do we help someone develop their primitive reflexes because of a neurodivergent disability or because of a genetic syndrome? It impacts their gross and fine motor. Occupational therapy, physical therapy is to develop those fine motor and gross motor skills.
Yep.
Let's get them into sports,
right,
where they can develop those skills and meet friends and socialize. Learn how to wait, learn how to take turns, learn how to run and throw simultaneously. And you're not alone.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of individuals that have ADHD, the inability to what we call executive functioning, follow through with a task.
Right.
And just one the other day, an adult telling me, May, the shame, the inability for someone with my level of intelligence to not finish something I start. And I said, I can help you. I can walk you through that process of organizational skills. They suffer. They suffer from depression. They suffer from frustration, from anxiety. Individuals who are high functioning on the spectrum, who have an incredible intelligence, but they don't have the social skills or the emotional skills to maintain a job. And they suffer from depression. And they're isolated at home. And I speak to a lot of these individuals. So Fit with Friends is to give people the opportunity to be out there, to expose themselves, to do sports and socialize. Then we have monthly webinars once a month where we invite others from our community, and it's an educational, purposeful training. We've had chiropractors, we've had attorneys, legal advocates to guide parents. Hey, after 18, these are your legal guardianship laws, you know, and we put them in contact so they know, because it's all about knowing. And a lot of times you don't know, parents don't know. I had a family just call me recently.
Wonderful.
My child's 18. I took him to the doctor. The doctor refused to talk to me at this point.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they're 18. Wow.
Because they're 18, but they're nonverbal, very little verbal skills. They're on the spectrum. They have intellectual disability. But now all of a sudden the parents didn't know, oh, I need to transfer guardianship. And that's a whole legal process and financial process. Wow. So these monthly empowered connections, it's to provide those networking opportunities and those tools.
It's like the networking, the community, both for the parents that are involved as well as the individuals that go through it and the children that go through it. That's amazing. That's incredible. And then tying in, you don't even think, at least as someone that's not involved in it or hasn't had to deal with it, you don't even think the importance of the physical part of it, right? Of having them be physically active and what that means and the camaraderie that comes with that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. The angle, that you're going at it with. Wow. Okay. I'm blown away. So I do have questions.
Shoot.
Let's go. I think you've answered so many of them. Actually just, doing your thing. And it's clear that you're super passionate about it, which is, I think, in any nonprofit that is important. But I think specifically in something like this, where you have to be an advocate for people that unfortunately can't advocate for themselves, you have to have like a fire under your ass. And you clearly do.
You do.
It's fantastic.
And that is my goal. I said, if I can help God's weakest creation provide a modicum of safety, of independence, I did my job.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line for me.
Wow. Okay. So, what would you say is the hardest part of running a nonprofit like this, that people never really see from the outside? The most difficult challenges?
The hardest part is the commitment. Yeah. The hardest part is the fact that the majority of us run on emotion and on immediate need. And what does that mean? It means I get phone calls all the time. I need help. My child's in crisis. I have highly aggressive individual, even kids not on the spectrum. Right. My company is not geared towards just children with diagnoses. I have general ed students, typically developing families and kids as well.
Okay.
But they'll call and they'll say, oh, I need help. I'm going through XYZ. Okay, great. You need to contact this person for this. You need this for that. You can come here for me. We can provide you with this. And we walk them through and we'll give them the support they need at the moment. And 2 weeks pass. Things are calm at home. Oh, no, we're good. Oh, okay. So your 11-year-old who's beating you when you take away the iPad, who hasn't beat you in a week, now you're good.
Yeah, I know.
The commitment and the lack of follow through, I think, is the hardest part.
Because you're pouring, obviously, your efforts into this.
Right.
And if they don't continue to do it.
They don't. And it's ongoing. Yeah. It's ongoing. So that is where, and I've realized that some of our staff, they're starting to see it from this perspective. And they're like,
it's like frustrating.
There's very little follow through. They call you in a moment of crisis, in a moment of need.
Right.
And it's just learning to work with the different dynamics of families. Some people are fully hands-on. Right. Some people are here. You handle it. You fix it.
And it's a very sensitive situation because you can't force someone, right, to follow through. But you're using your time, your money, your resources to try to help them.
Bingo.
If it's not going to turn into something,
right,
they have to want it.
They have to want it.
So, okay, so you would say that the difficult part is getting them to want it and follow through and continue doing
that. And being a nonprofit, the tutoring company it's a running entity.
Right.
Nonprofits, I opened it up for the reasons I said. I got to help families on a bigger scale, a grander scale, and call it ignorance or naiveness. At the end of the day, I said, wow, this is a big undertaking.
Yeah. This is financially, that people don't think. I think a lot of people have misconceptions. Like, it's a nonprofit. It pays for itself. It pays for the employees. They're rolling in it for some of them. And there's so many things as a business in general that things heads to. As a nonprofit, because a business, I can take money from the business and pay my people and do my things and pay my lawyers and, get things moving and generate leads. But for a nonprofit, okay. So I'm being yelled at by my production manager.
Correct.
Actually, so say, Alex, what were you showing me? Tell me what you're driving into.
She does a lot of events. She needs sponsors. sponsors.
Okay.
One of the events, even right now, she's sponsoring right now is a CPR class for anybody with a special needs.
Well, actually, can anyone go to that? Because I actually need it.
So
right.
Socially Mouse is helping a hand of hand create this. So she's giving one of us her pods, one of her locations,
right,
as possible, because of the drownings that happen during summer times and things like that.
Well,
yes,
yes. Just gives. Well, let's do that. Right. So on that note, how do you raise funds? Like, who contributes?
So this is a baby entity,
right?
And as soon as I received my determination letter for nonprofit 501c3 status, I hit the ground running.
Right.
In the past few months, as Socially Moms mentioned, it's been out of my pocket.
Right.
These events have been hosted, and I do it again because I know the need. My students, the gains some of them have made from hitting their parents at the events and not wanting to get to the events to running up to the general ed children to say, hey, I'm here, let's play.
Yeah.
Those are gains.
Yeah.
That's growth.
Right.
So I did it. Now it's kind of like, now we're getting the company up and running.
Right. But it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable just yet. We need your help.
Right.
We need sponsors. We need donors. Again, the nonprofit goes back to the nonprofit. It goes back to our kids, to the community. But in order to develop these vocational skills programs, to provide teaching strategies and classes in order on how to maintain jobs, not get fired because you want to take your lunch at a specific time. True story.
Right.
Someone on the spectrum. I need to pay these tutors. Right. I need to pay these individuals. We need the equipment for these activities. We need the locations. We need the food. We have a lot. It's a running entity. So sponsors and donors.
So So when you say sponsors and donors, so donors could donors also be people that are familiar with dealing with situations like this or children like this. They have something that they can contribute as far as their time is concerned, like being a tutor. That
absolutely
need
volunteers.
Yeah, yes. Exactly, the volunteers.
And I didn't mention a very important part of the Academy Corporation, which is we'd like to provide scholarships, financial support to families who cannot afford certain therapies, certain tutoring classes, whatever help they need. Perfect example, we were able to collect enough funds a few months back and buy specialized glasses for one of the boys, and the parents couldn't afford it, and the insurance wouldn't pay for it.
That's so frustrating.
And now, and here's another thing with insurances. They cut kids out after 6, 8 years old.
Why?
Because they no longer need services.
They do it? Like, they're just like...
they justify their loopholes and their means. They no longer need services. They no longer need ABA. They no longer need speech. They no longer need OT if they can write.
In itself.
Yet they still can't dress themselves or, it's a huge disservice. So everything costs money for these families.
Yeah.
Just for us regular, typical parents.
It costs.
So we would like to be able to support families who are struggling with financial hardships with some of these services they may need.
Right.
So the nonprofit is to be able to provide those 3 services: education for parents and staff members, the Fit with Friends, opportunities for physical activities, sports, and social skills, and then support financial hardship.
Wow. And that's full circle. I mean, it sounds like you're well on your way.
Working towards it, yes. It's a lot of work. It's 2 companies.
For being because you said, again, this is a baby. For being the nonprofit, hand in hand, it's a year old, a little less than a year old.
Less than a year.
And what would you say is, I know there's so many things that go into it, but what would you say was like the biggest thing that you're proud of, or I guess the life that you've been able to help off the top of your head that has made the biggest impact in your life? Tell me.
Off the top of my head? Several.
Okay.
2 families who their boys had no friends, no one to call, no one to hang out with, now have made friends and are socializing, and we're employing one of them soon.
Wow.
A child who had severe social anxiety, would not leave his house since the pandemic.
Wow.
Is now socializing and going out and overcoming different obstacles every day.
That's incredible.
A few others.
Yeah.
A few others.
No.
For the sake of privacy, I won't disclose a few things, but
yeah.
one, like I said, one's not cutting himself anymore. And parents got him the help he needed. Another family is managing their children and getting the support they needed. They were about falling apart.
Yeah. The toll that takes on
the toll that it takes. And it's very private information. It's very personal to your heart. You're talking about your children. You know, that's talking about what happens behind closed doors and marriages and mom and dad just trying to stay afloat financially. And then you have, you know, your child. And again, not all our clients, not all our students have a diagnosis.
Right. So
it's just supporting families.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that's a huge lifeline. Again. Oh, that's right. Actually, that's a great question. Do you feel like children with autism in the future, that's going to be considered like a superpower? Because we know that they talk about, children that can be autistic that are extremely high functioning and they have like that edge. So what are your thoughts on that?
This is loaded.
Yes.
This is loaded.
Jump in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Autism. Wide spectrum for a reason.
Right.
Cannot be detected by medical science, blood work, anything of that sort. It's behavioral characteristics.
Okay.
How does it work? How does it function? They use different parts of their brain.
Okay.
1 in 31 individuals now have autism.
Wow.
That means general ed doesn't exist anymore. A general ed class per se.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Because there's at least,
And I say it every time I present, and I will throw this out there to anyone in the field when people say, oh, I didn't sign up for this, then change fields.
Okay.
Okay? Because 1 in 31 have autism. 1 in 3 of those 1 in 31 have intellectual disability, which is mentally handicapped, a cognitive delay.
Right.
Right? Now, they broke it down now that there's autism level 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
That means on severity. You have high functioning, level 1, level 2, moderate, level 3, more profound.
Okay.
Someone can have ASD level 3 and not be cognitively impaired. Just because they have sensory dysregulation, think of it as you're in a state of high.
Right.
I took a neurology class back in college, and she explained it in a way that I love to explain it this way to parents and others is, imagine your neurotransmitters to your nervous system.
Right.
If they could come out in a visual shape as a peg, one comes out the shape of a triangle and the receptor is the shape of a circle and it doesn't fit.
Okay.
So when you see someone stimming, either verbally or physically,
right,
the outside world in layman terms says, oh, you're crazy. No, you're not crazy. That's sensory dysfunction. You're not crazy. When you do this or you twirl your feet, are you crazy?
No.
Or are you just relieving stress? It's sensory. Sensory relief, correct?
Okay. Absolutely.
When a child is doing that, doesn't mean they're crazy. Doesn't mean they're dumb. Doesn't mean they're stupid. Doesn't mean they're weird.
Yeah.
They feel things we don't. They hear things we don't. They see things we don't. Wow. Not because we're stupid or crazy, but the sensory dysregulation.
Right.
Now, the autism causes apraxia, which affects language. It causes other, not a doctor, I don't know how to portray this, but another deficits cognitively that affect gross motor, affects language, affects retention. Doesn't mean they can't learn.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're not bright. So we teach them to communicate a different way. We teach them to work at a different way. Now, on the flip side of that, people are pushing this whole theory of, well, we have to adapt to them. That's not realistic. I have someone who just got fired because they wanted to have their lunch at their time because their boss said you have to have lunch at this time. And his response, well, I'm not hungry at that time. So he would stop working and eat when he wanted to eat. Society's not going to adapt to one person's way of being. Right. That's just not realistic.
Right.
So we need to find that middle ground. Learn why the individual is affected. Learn how they learn if you're a loved one or an educator to that person. However, teach them to cope and work through their deficits and their difficulties so that they function as independently in society as possible.
Right.
And that comes with, again, if you don't have a psych eval, get a psych eval. If you have one and you don't know how to read it, find someone who can interpret it for you, a psychologist or neurologist or ESE specialist, special ed, and learn this is their adaptive level. Right. This is their physical development level. This is their academic achievement level. This is their cognitive level. What does that mean for my child?
Right.
All right, this is a strength. This is a weakness. This is a deficit. This is an indicator that affects this area. And now you have a better picture of how does my child learn?
Right.
So in this area, I have to teach them this way. In this area, they've mastered criteria. That's as high as they're going to get there. However, let me strengthen and teach you here so that maybe you can function and work here.
Yeah.
You may not be a journalist. You may not be an architect, but let's get you working in a field that you're going to be productive and as independent as possible. And that's not just somebody on the spectrum. That's everybody.
Yeah. 1,000%.
So is autism a superpower? Yes, it is a superpower. They're savant. They have high strength and gifted areas. They love hard. There's a big misconception. There's a big misconception where young children and doctors and people say, well, they like isolated play. They don't like to be touched. They don't like to be this. It's not that the individual doesn't want to be touched.
Right.
It's just he or she may feel proprioceptively. It's like they're in a state of high. They feel things we don't.
Yeah.
And when you learn that about a child, I'll purposely, all my students, off the bat, when I go to help them, I'll touch them on purpose.
Yeah.
I want to see where they are. Hypersensitive. Will they jerk away from me?
Yeah.
If they do, all right, you're hypersensitive.
Right.
So I'll start patting them hard on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'll start touching them and getting familiar with my approach.
Right.
They all run and hug me and kiss me while they don't do it to other people.
Wow.
Because now they know.
Don't want to approach it.
They don't know how to.
Yeah.
And they don't want to, and they don't know.
Cross that barrier. And then once you're in, it opens up the opportunity for them to be a lot more receptive to all of the other things that you're trying to help them with.
I have one boy who, he comes around and he goes, see him walking around while I'm in a meeting one day, and I said, this is odd. He's approaching me like this. I said, what do you want? So-and-so? He goes, kiss? Hello? Oh, I cried.
Oh my
It was his first approaching kiss. I go, all right. And I'll tell him, I go, I'm going to kiss you. I'm going to hug you. He says, no. I said, hard. He says, okay. So then I can squeeze him hard. But they want it.
Yeah.
Because then they enter a state of depression. They want to be included.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to say, hey, if you touch, and this is not just ASD.
Right.
Individuals that have ODD, OCD, anxiety, ADHD have hypersensitivities as well.
Right.
So it's getting to know the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I'm definitely going to have you back because there's a lot to unpack here as well. But this has been incredible. Before we let them go, I want you to let them know where they can help, where they can find you, where they can learn about you.
Thank you so much. Okay. You can find us at handinhandacademy.com for the nonprofit. And you can find us at handinhandedu for our homeschool tutoring IP advocacy. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all those platforms.
Yeah.
All those platforms. We welcome your support. And any which way you can contribute, you can sponsor, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can join our cause. It would be a blessing to help bless and serve others. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you again. We will see you on the next one.